now we are gonna go check out this mansion. It was built in 1893.
I'm mad that you know all of this in my city. Like, I live
So,
here.
but check it out. In my mind, 1893, this is Richmond, Virginia, Confederate. You know, they lost the war and everything. So I bet you they got this land for a good price, 100 acres. They got this for a steal. You know, the people probably went into foreclosure and bankruptcy because, you know, slaves were freed and they ain't had nobody to work the land. Yeah, so we about to go see this mansion. Let me tell y'all, they done built this mansion. 12,000 square feet, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 33 rooms. I know they got a deal. That's the only way they could ball out like that after free labor was freed. Let's go see what this house talking about. Y'all know I love history. Y'all know that, right? If you travel with me, you probably think it's so boring because I want to see like all this historical stuff. Look at that. That's how you know they were balling. They probably got this in the repo auction too. So, the date's wrong. 1886 they bought the land. 1893 they built the house.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So no, this wasn't a plantation,
Right.
because slavery was over. They missed that boat. And so they bought the land then, and then they built this 12,000 square foot home on the land. And so 1893 is when they moved into their home. That's when their home was completed.
Right.
And it's 100 acres, and it has a bunch of other buildings and stuff. And y'all see those pimped out rides?
Killed over or whatever and dumped into the city.
Y'all, this is their house. 33 rooms, 12,000 square feet. Okay? This is the domestic staff. But why they even look pimped out though? Like, them uniforms are hot.
When I came up to the house, Miss Dooley would see me and ask my aunt, Frances? That's how she said her name. Frances, who's that? She said, that's my niece Virgie. Miss Dooley would say, well, she can stay the day, but she should go home when night comes. I stay Saturday and Sunday. And every time I came, Miss Dooley would say the same thing. My aunt used to treat me just like I was her own child. I stayed with her in her rooms over the garage. And then she'd go back over to the house to do the cooking. And I eat there in the kitchen with her. One day, my aunt took me upstairs to meet Miss Dooley. She shook my hand and told me, I want you to grow up and be a fine cook like your aunt. And my aunt said, well, I don't want her to be a cook. Miss Dooley thought my aunt was one of the finest cooks around. Aunt Frances, you see, only worked for the wealthiest of families. Miss Dooley did not want to lose her. She promised to remember her in her will, and she did.
I worked as a maid much of my life. I first worked for the Hobson family for 8 years. Next, I was an upstairs maid for the Knowles family, where I stayed for 25 years. I slept on the lot and had nice, comfortable quarters. My uniform was black silk, and it had a white collar. I had to wear a little cap that puffs out on the head. They always said I was the most beautiful maid you ever saw.
When I was small at home there, my mother took in washing. My mother washed on Mondays and Wednesdays, and she ironed on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We had 3 or 4 big old tubs, and one she rinsed, and the last one she put the blue in. We could go to the store and get a block of blue in for 2 cents, and you could do a whole week's washing with that block of blue. And when they came out, they were so pretty and white, and hung them on the line. And Mother used to buy the starch and make it, and she put a pinch of lard in the starch to keep it from sticking. And we had an ironing board. And our ironing board, we had to put on one end of the chair and at the end of the table. That's where she had to iron her clothes, because we didn't have ironing boards like they got now. We had about 5 or 6 irons. We had about 5 or 6 of them. She used to sing plenty hymns, and when she'd be washing her clothes, she'd be talking to the Lord, and she'd be singing.
$100 a month. So
This is the budget, y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
So up here is like the average of what they would make a month for those different skills, for those different people in the house, right? So this guy's the head butler, and he makes $100 a month. And then they compare it to other stuff, like other butlers, teachers, and everything. This is my favorite part. So over here, he makes $1,200 a year. So is that enough for him to survive? But he's below the average, which is $1,400. So it says that she supplemented their salary by taking their wash. But this much went to food. This every dollar, girl. This every dollar on fleek. This much went to food, miscellaneous, savings and interest, household furnishings, heat and light. Isn't that dope?
Wow.
Rent, clothing. I'm like, that's that budget life.